they were too late to be useful, and also Aquaman fucks fish. So hello and welcome back to Lunchbox Reviews. We are doing the finale episode of Peacemaker. The episode is called Cow or Never. I am Michelle. As always, I'm joined by Lou.
Hello.
And Alex.
Hey.
So before we get into spoilers, just a quick, what did you guys think of the finale?
I first, I guess. I liked it. It had kind of just more of the same things. I didn't love it. It had the comedy mixed with the action, mixed with the seriousness. I guess, in a way, I think maybe I overhyped it in my head, the whole thing. But it was good, but not as good as I was hoping it would be. Yeah.
You're expecting like Batman to come in and start breaking necks or something?
Well, somebody came in.
Yeah, somebody. No, it was a satisfactory conclusion. I liked it. I don't have. I really don't have any complaints about this episode. Mostly because the news broke yesterday that it's being renewed for season 2.
Yep.
So yeah, I took with that in mind. I just said, okay, we're gonna move forward, and it didn't have one of the major television show sins of having a huge cliffhanger ending. So yeah, kudos to James Gunn. Yeah.
I'm glad you said that, because that's what I was going to say. Because I was nervous because I heard it was going to be season 2 before I watched this finale episode. And I was like, oh, shoot. Are we going to just have to wait till season 2 to finish the story? And it felt like the story actually ended in this episode with just enough to want to watch a second season, but not like, oh, okay, I wasted my time with no conclusion in sight. So it felt like the story was really wrapped up. I was thrilled. I was thrilled with this finale. It was what I hoped it would be. So it was good. So with all that said, we're going to start spoiling it. So if you haven't watched it, too bad. We're spoiling it anyways, and you should still watch our video. Be nice, just watch. So this episode starts right where the last episode ended. Obviously, that's usually how shows work. And we are meeting the gang. They're on the way to kill the cow. And Peacemaker is really, really mad at Adebayo. They're having their she's trying to apologize for the diary thing, and he is just farting, making fart sounds like crazy, and just not letting her get a word in at all. And they arrive to this barn area where the cow is being housed underground of the barn. That makes sense. And they're trying to come up with a plan. Luckily, Peacemaker has a whole bunch of helmets for them to choose from, so they kind of go through what they think their plan should be based on what helmets they have, including the sonic boom helmet, the anti-grav helmet, the give everyone scabies helmet, whatever that was, that mentioned, and then the human torpedo helmet, and I think and breathe underwater. They had 5. So they have to come up with a miraculous plan with those 5 helmets. Unfortunately, their original plan to get Eagly to put the sonic boom helmet on top of the barn doesn't quite go right. So the helmet gets lost in the forest, and all of the characters have to go find the helmet. So what did you guys think of this introductory section?
I thought it was really funny. The helmets, Eagly, they were so convinced that Eagles was gonna take it, and Hardcore was like, no, the Eagles can't understand what you're saying. And then Eagly picks it up, flies, and she's like, oh wow. And then he swerves. It was really funny. I thought the all the fart noises they were making got annoying after a bit, but other than that, it was. I guess I would probably be doing the same thing. So yeah.
It was an okay opening. It meandered a little bit because the whole we got to find the helmet now because that's the the crux of our plan. So we sort of have to spend time doing it. But once Economos they had the plan with Economos, then it was all right, probably should have started here. could have gotten more the action and everything, but yeah, it was all right.
I agree. So I think what they should have done instead is Eagly was injured and couldn't fly it. But that's it. Simple. Get that. Maybe they had to find an excuse why Eagly couldn't do it instead of having Eagly like drop it and then that whole situation. Just Eagly couldn't fly. Eagly was in the hospital literally quite recently. So that would have been a great excuse to just move forward. But I will say my new favorite duo is Economos and Vigilante, because those two are so funny because they were having their conversation in the forest. And that was one of the highlights for me, where I don't even know what they were talking about ants. And they're like, oh, ants are more important for the food chain than fish. And just, they both didn't know what they were talking about. And it was really funny when both characters kind of acknowledged that. Like, Economos is like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm so confused. And then Vigilante's like, yeah, me too. Like, what happened? And
how many fish do you think there are at one time?
Yeah. It just made no sense. And I love that they acknowledged it made no sense. That just like really made me laugh. And I like the banter between the two of them. It's really funny. But that being said, this whole opening could have been skipped in my mind. Just establish the plan and do it. So once I do establish the plan is that Economos is going to take the sonic boom helmet into the barn. He's going to pretend to be a butterfly because he's the only one that wouldn't be recognized by the butterflies. So he's going to go in, pretend to be a butterfly, put the helmet as close to the cow as possible, and then they're going to detonate said helmet. So they try this plan. He takes one look at the cow and just doesn't do the plan properly, just drops the helmet and dips. He has a really interesting encounter with one of the police officers where he's finally asked about what is going on with his dye beard. And he, comes clean that he does dye his beard. And it's a moment of sadness for that character having to explain it. And I think it's a really interesting moment hearing Peacemaker or watching Peacemaker, like that clicked for him. You're like, wow, I've been bullying this guy for so long about this thing. And then once that happens, unfortunately, he does kind of get caught by the butterflies and they have to initiate Plan Sonic Boom and start blowing up the barn. So what do you guys think about the true opening to this episode, I think?
Okay, no, I was just going to say, yeah, this like absolute thumbs up. I loved it because it was like something serious. Like it was tense, but there was humor underneath it because like, Economos is so useless that like, how is he going to screw this one up? And he sort of did, but didn't. Yeah, he sort of did, but not in the way you'd expect him to. So at least that twist was pretty good, and it kept the story going.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I love Economo more now because of like this particular scene. His quiet confidence, but not really. He's also really scared underneath, but he's gonna do it anyway because he's found friends now. I really love the just going downstairs, gets lower, and once he sees the cow, is like, oh, nope, I'm going back up. He was just so close, just put it under there, and it would have been okay. But yeah, no, it was really cool. It's really, like Alex said, it was a real serious moment, but the comedy just cut the tension a little bit, and I loved it.
I love the explanation of the dye beard. That was my favorite part of this like segment. Just the why behind it, his like mental state about it. It was really funny to finally address this thing that has been talked about since day one. That honestly, I didn't even think they would ever actually address it in any way, shape, or form. I thought it was just like a joke. It was just like this commentary about this character, and it's like, oh, here's why he has this silly dye beard, and here's his thought process. And I just thought that was like a weird nugget of character development that I didn't think we would get in the middle of this really tense scene. And I really liked it. I thought it was funny. And watching Peacemaker deal with it and like kind of be sad about how much of a bully he was, I really liked that. It was really hilarious. And then, of course, we have the sonic booms happen. And unfortunately, because the helmet was brought back up, the characters know they did not kill a cow with the sonic boom. So instead, they have to attack and fight and rush in. So we have Peacemaker, Vigilante, and Harcourt running just straight into all of the butterflies ever to fight and have this epic battle to try to get to the cow. In the battle, we see that Peacemaker gets the opportunity to actually enter the barn and go downstairs to where the cow is, where Hardcore and Vigilante still have to deal with everything outside. They both get taken out in some capacity. They get incapacitated, where Peacemaker is able to make it down to the bottom somewhat, where he has to fight Goth somewhat, but not really. So there's no fight there. And then we have Adebayo coming to save the day, and she has to save Harcourt from a butterfly and then make her way down to the cow. And we'll leave it at that, because then we'll discuss the rest. What do you guys think about the big battle, we'll call it?
I loved it. It was, I guess, my favorite part of the episode. I love the action pieces that they did, just the fight. Nice, very nice choreography. And when they got down, like, you could even see, let me go back to the fight. You could even see, like, the heads getting cut off, arms, limbs just flying all over the place. Hardcore was doing some really cool action scenes, and it was cool. It was an overall really cool looking fight. And then with Adebayo, it was really fun. If you guys know X-Men, that was like Cannonball, and she just, and but we're not gonna talk about the second one, but we'll talk about it. Was really cool, like the first time she did the Cannonball.
Sonic, what was it? The human torpedo. That's what it is.
Torpedo.
Human torpedo activate. Yeah.
It was awesome action. It was gruesome, bloody, like it's really earning its mature status right there. I guess it's always good because just a few times in the series we've seen Peacemaker cut loose, but like this episode we really see him cut loose. He looks like what he did in the Suicide Squad movie, just absolutely unstoppable. And Vigilante was cool, and Harcourt, they both got taken down though, so that was concerning.
That was
very concerning. But I'll let Michelle take it now.
I mean, echoing you too. Loved it. I loved that it was the opening song that they were marching into. There's that song. I love
and
it.
the slow motion while it was playing.
The entire like duration of the song, because the song ends with Hardcore hitting the ground, so like that's like the whole battle is that whole song essentially, and it's amazing. I freaking adore it. Peacemaker with the shield as well, because he has this one moment where the shield's like up in the air and he shoots the shield into a dude. What? That was crazy. I loved it. The shield is my favorite. It's just like, that was fun to watch. It was what I'd expected from this finale, like blood, violence, crazy kills, and it delivered for me on that. Especially because I felt like the previous episode, I wasn't here to talk about it, but the previous episode there was the fight, but it didn't have that like bloodiness to it, that like aggressive overkill. And this one brought that in spades. So I was really happy to see that for the actual finale. So we catch up with Peacemaker and Adebayo. Well, kind of. Adebayo's knocked out. In the cavern, and Peacemaker sees the cow, and he has a conversation with Goth, in which Goth pretty much says, hey, don't kill the cow. Help us keep the cow alive. And here's why you should. And explains a, to me, convoluted story of the fact that the butterflies are seeing that the humans are kind of neglecting their world in the way the butterflies did that caused them to have to be here. So don't kill us, let us mind control you to keep the world okay, is what the offer is to Peacemaker. It's, you want peace? Here's how you provide the peace for people, by letting us continue to control them. So Peacemaker has to make a decision, and his decision is activate human torpedo. And Adebayo goes flying into the cow and kills it. At that point, Peacemaker shoots Goff, shoots the other guy, and they end the reign of the butterflies somewhat. Peacemaker does allow Butterfly Goff to actually escape, not the human part, just the butterfly part. And they emerge triumphantly from the cave, and they pick up Hardcore and they get Economos and the whole gang's together. And as they're walking, Vigilante's just fine. He's just there. He just got up on his own and he's good. And as they're leaving, we get our first real big cameos from the DC universe, and we have most of the Justice League kind of show up. So we see the shadows, I guess, or the outlines of 4 members of the Justice League. So we get Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Flash, with actually Aquaman and Flash showing their actual faces. It's Jason Momoa and what's his name, Ezra Miller, the actual people who play these characters, and they get told off by Peacemaker because they're late to fight. It wasn't helpful. They were too late to be useful, and also Aquaman fish. So Jason Momoa got to comment on that. And apparently Ezra Miller / Flash does think it is not a rumor and that it is a fact that he does things to the fish. Yep. So with that, we kind of have a wrap-up ending with all the characters kind of wrapping up their individual storylines. But I think the one that's most important to talk about is that Adebayo goes on the news, goes on TV, and exposes Amanda Waller and everything that's been happening and why it was that Peacemaker and Vigilante were helping them and fighting with the butterflies, and all, like, everything gets exposed. And Amanda Waller is pissed, to say the least. That's my glossing over of everyone's endings, but everyone gets a little nice bow wrap ending, more or less. And then Judo Master is there being angry and eating his Cheetos at the very, very end. So, what do you guys think of the wrap up of the finale and the whole season?
Okay, I could kind of try go points. First point was the Adebayo scene where Peacemaker activates the helmet and she goes straight to the cow was my favorite scene. It was awesome. It was out of the blue. So I love that. That was really awesome. Secondly, I really love that after all of that, the action and hardcore, you're guessing whether she makes it or not. Vigilante shows up, like, oh, hey guys. It's like, I was just out killing people. It's cool. And then, which leads me to the Justice League, which I thought was really cool. That it's a kind of typical James Gunn way to add them there, where it almost just doesn't make sense. They showed up and they got cussed out that they were too late, and it was cool. Like, that's the best way, like, in my head, that they would cameo and like fight and help Peacemaker. I thought it was perfect. The cameo was perfect, and I wish could have seen Henry Cavill, but chances are he's probably never going to be Superman again. And lastly, we go to Amanda Waller and how she's in trouble now, which for me anyway gives me kind of some context for a little bit of what's going to happen towards the next season. It has to do with something with Amanda Waller, or it's something to think about. So it's not completely you're in a cliffhanger, you're like, oh crap, but it has things that makes you just wonder. Like, you're free to kind of speculate what's going to happen for the second season. And that's my thoughts on the last act.
Okay, a few things. Let's start with what? The whole Judo Master thing. Lou and I discussed it in the last
Sorry, Alex. Can I cut in just a little bit? Yeah. I forgot about that. What the hell was Judo Master doing there again? Go ahead, because you were about to talk about it. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
That's exactly the feeling. Like last episode felt out of place. He shouldn't have been there. His arc was wrapped up. Like, I could care less. Like, he could have been a gun for hire. Now, like, he had an emotional attachment to the butterflies. I don't care. I stopped caring once Adebayo shot him in the heart. It's done. It was done. The other thing, Michelle ruined something for me this episode, because a few episodes ago you had the stinking Theory. No, I'm joking. It wasn't a bad theory, but it did affect the way I viewed this scene. You threw up some red flags around Adebayo's wife. So that scene, it felt like it dragged for a long time because I'm like, oh my God, what's gonna happen to Adebayo? She's gonna find out this is a robot, an android, something like that. And then no, it was just a sweet, tender moment, and that was it. And I'm like, oh, where's blood? Where's the blood? I was promised blood.
I did actually think for like a few seconds, I'm like, she's gonna do something, and then this is gonna be like our intrigue for the next season, but nothing.
Exactly. And I blame Michelle.
I'll take the blame. I will take that. I deserve that. But also, I feel like my argument was a fair point. It makes, now that it's over, why the heck is she in the front of the dance when she's barely in the damn thing? Makes no sense.
I mean, your theory could still be, correct. Like for the next season, it could be something they could build on. But yeah, for this season, it's nothing.
The other thing is like, it's great. The Justice League cameos were great because like the big question from last week was, like, are we gonna have teasers for future movies? And in a way, I wasn't expecting to see the Flash or Aquaman, who both have movies coming up next from DC, and this is the perfect way to do it. In like a really mature adult way. They're swearing, they're just stuff you don't see from DC characters, and they're having fun with it, and you don't mind, right? Like it doesn't hurt anyone, and it's great. I'm sure there's a bunch of nerds who are really pissed off about Aquaman or whatever, but who cares? It's fun. It's for the sake of it. And the last thing is Peacemaker's dad showing up as like an apparition or something, or like just in Peacemaker's head. I'm very curious to see where that goes because Robert Patrick's a great actor, and and he just looks so goofy, and he's just goofy all around. So besides being a horrible racist, but it is the version of him in Peacemaker's mind. So who knows how that's gonna go? I'm curious.
Oh, by the way, Michelle, before you continue, there's a fun fact in this episode. Did you guys know that Marvel filmed the last episode of Peacemaker? Because James Gunn is currently working on Guardians of the Galaxy. He took the production crew and made them shoot this last episode so that after that they could get back shooting Guardians of the Galaxy, the Christmas special, and Volume 3. There you go. James Gunn confirmed it in that interview. So I thought that was pretty cool.
What is he up to? That man's crazy.
He's bridging two worlds.
What is it gonna be like a oh my God, now my brain's like, wait, what if there was like a DC Marvel crossover by James Gunn?
It's not gonna happen. I don't think it's
never gonna happen, but like it'd be cool if it did, and I'd watch it. But anyways, back to this episode. I was happy with the way it ended in this case. Like the thing with Goff trying to get Peacemaker to not kill the butterflies, I was like, whoa. I wasn't expecting that. And also I'm happy with the way it turned out and his explanation for why he made that choice, because Adebayo does ask him, like, why didn't you? And he like says, oh, but something to the effect that the butterflies would have hurt them or his friends or whatever. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of enough character development for me to accept that he would make that choice. I'm like, okay, I like it. It's good enough. It was a good time. So I liked that. Then the Justice League cameo, the moment I saw those shadows, I was nervous. I have to say, I was like, oh, don't make it a whole thing. I don't want this. I really am not. I didn't need any cameos. It's grounded enough. I saw Suicide Squad. I know it exists. Like, I know what's happening. And it was just enough for me to be like, okay, that worked. Yeah. Like, one line longer, I would have been like, get out of here. Still in the show. Stop it. I thought it was perfect. It was a perfect cameo. And I liked that they didn't show us, like, we didn't see Wonder Woman face. So we didn't see Gal Gadot or anything like that. And then we didn't see Superman. And I'm okay with that. I honestly liked that. I don't know. It would have been too much. I'm like, that was a perfect little, like, boop, boop. They got 2 lines and then shut up and carry on. That was great. And I'm really excited to see where the next season goes. I agree. I wasn't here last time we talked about it, but I agree with you, Judo Master, why? But maybe like that is part of season 2. Like it seems like he's gonna get revenge or he's gonna have some feelings about it. And I'd be okay with that, like with a new storyline for him, because he doesn't make sense now, but he was a funny character and I'd like to see him come back and like fight Peacemaker again. So that's how I feel about it.
I mean, do those flaming hot Cheetos like prevent the butterflies from going in him? Like what's going on with those flaming hot Cheetos? Like he always has, there's no explanation for those things. I'm like, at the first time it was spicy, like, okay, it's funny.
But what if that actually is the case?
Theory.
That's a great theory. I love that. That's really funny. Yeah,
kinda, I guess. Yeah. It explains a bit because it's always there. I mean, I just wondered like why flaming hot Cheetos.
Well, okay, I'm not even gonna try to theorize about that. I was like, well, maybe no, it doesn't matter. It happened. Who knows? Maybe they'll explain it. Maybe they.
Well, it would be kind of in line with James Gunn to make it the weakness for the butterflies, so it makes sense if that were true. But
yeah, maybe he's just waiting for like a Cheeto sponsorship or something.
Yeah,
like who knows? Cheetos are gonna play a really big part in season 2 if he gets the sponsorship. So, with that, do you guys want to say anything about the whole series? Like wrap up feelings about everything and not just this episode?
So I guess final thoughts and score, I guess. So yeah, overall it was a really good series. Again, it's just my own fault. I was expecting a little too much for it. It didn't like make it, worse because of that. It was just my own fault. It was a good series. It's so far my favorite DCEU series. And I would give it fun action comedy, had a little bit of heart. I would give it a score of 8.5 out of 10. And yeah.
Yeah, I think we cataloged like all my complaints, and like a lot of it is like the undercutting of dramatic tension that happens a little too frequently. But even so, like a dialogue was great. John Cena was so good. Props to the man. I'm looking forward to the second season, and yeah, I give it an 8 out of 10.
If you'd asked me before we watched this if I thought I'd have the highest score, the answer would be hell no. That being said, I really liked it. I think it's because I had negative expectations. I was like, I hate this. I don't even want to watch it. It does not interest me. So I went in not just 0. And every episode thrilled me and made me laugh. I really genuinely loved it. I loved it. I was recommending it to my friend today. I don't do that very often. I'm just nah, whatever. Just watch what you watch. But I was like, no, I think you would like this because it will catch you off guard. And for that reason, I give it a 9 out of 10 because I freaking laughed more than I've laughed in so long. I watch those episodes and literally I'm happy afterwards, which I'm such an angry person that it's a big deal for me that I feel like I'm laughing during it. I'm having a good time. It's everything I want truly in this type of show where I want the violence and I want tension to be cut with comedy. I think it's stupid and I like the tone shift. It works for me in this context. In other things I wouldn't like it. In here it works. It's what I expect. And I don't like John Cena, but I love him in this role. So 9 out of 10. I really liked it. I'm happy. I'm trying not to be excited for season 2 because I want to keep my expectations low so I'm not disappointed, because I get nervous when there's another season of something I really like. But jury's out. We'll see what happens. So with all that, thank you everybody who stuck with us for all 8 episodes of Peacemaker. If you watched it, if you liked it, let us know. If you have no interest in it, let us know why. If you have differing opinions or the same opinions, let us know. Moral of the story, please comment. Tell us what's up. We want to talk to you. So as well, comment, subscribe. We have all of the social medias. We're also on TikTok. We're trying to do the thing that the young people do, so follow us there.
You'll see Alex and Michelle dancing to TikTok stuff.
Oh yeah, that's gonna
No
happen. Right?
promises.
Oh, by the way,
promises.
if you're too busy with your everyday life and you just wanna hear us, all our episodes usually have a podcast version, and you can go check that out. If you're tired of seeing our faces and just want to hear our beautiful voices, hello.
Oh my god, I'm like, man, my voice sucks. Sorry for audio listeners. So, with that, as always, I'm Michelle. I've been joined by Lou and Alex, and we will see you for the next thing that we do. Bye.
Peace.